now. You must be looking forward to bringing your side, against your native club, but bringing your side into a championship final again.
Yeah, exciting times. I suppose any club that's involved this time of the year, it's generally speaking a good thing. So there's a good buzz around the place in Mungret. Even though we're 2 weeks out, it'll probably build nicely over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Looking back on that semi-final against Glenroe, I know we spoke maybe 5-10 minutes after that game. At the time, in the cold light of day, reflections on that performance, were you happy? You were surely happy that you won, but areas to improve. Did you pick out a couple of things there for the guys to focus on the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, look, I suppose talking to you immediately after the game, my overriding emotion was that I was very proud of how the players played, and that probably hasn't changed a whole pile looking back at the analysis. I suppose, look, this time of year with conditions the way they are, you're never probably going to give a complete performance, so yeah, look, we've done a bit of analysis and we'll work on a few things over the course of the next few weeks.
Tactically, I think the last day you played, a very, very good short. You went short when you had to, you went long when you had to, and a lot of balls stuck to hand. Is there a worry that maybe the conditions in a couple of weeks' time, that I know the Gaelic grounds is generally a good surface, but that could deteriorate and you might have to vary the game ever so slightly?
Yeah, look, I suppose that's a worry playing this time of the year, but I suppose that's probably the same for both teams. I think when you look at the Cappamore semi-final as well, they probably play a very similar brand to ourselves in terms of they're trying to hold possession and work the ball as well. So look, it's probably it's the same thing for both teams really.
As with the championship, every year it seems to, even when we had the full group of 8 where everyone played each other, and even last year when we had the fragmented group stages, the two teams have already met in the championship. You've beaten Cappamore. That game, I suppose played under different conditions, but would you expect a similar sort of clash of hurling in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, look, I suppose in the last 2 years we played Cappamore in the group stages last year and we ended up in a draw. There was only 2 points in it this year, and we got the last score in injury time. So look, there'll be nothing between the two teams, and I suppose that probably what makes it that little bit exciting for a contest.
We mentioned there you're a Cappamore native yourself. How do you sleep at night with knowing that? I know. I've seen in previous grades that fellas would find it difficult to come up against their own club because that's the nature of the J. That's where you've been born and bred. But how do you approach it? Do you try and park all that?
Yeah, very much so. Look, I suppose unfortunately it's something that I'm used to, both we say at schools level, at inter-county level, at club level. I've had the misfortune of coming up against your own team, but look, I think the next 2 weeks is where my job is, but by the time that Sunday comes around I'll have very little to do, and look, it's the two teams on the pitch will decide where the cup goes.
Yeah, your captain has been out injured. There's any other injuries heading into the final?
Yeah, we've had a good few injuries over the course of the year, and we probably haven't been playing with a full deck yet so far this year, and maybe the extra week break ahead of the final is maybe a help to us in that regard. So our physio has been busy trying to get players right, but I think anyone that comes through a championship like that, every team is going to have one or two little knocks and worries to get over.
And finally, I suppose we spoke the last day. I think you mentioned I could hear you even saying to the players that there was a lot of games in both codes. That seems to have eased off a little. The 19s is over. It seems to be over in both grades, if I'm not mistaken. Your junior team now are still in the championship, but that probably makes things a little bit easier. You can really focus on this game. There's not, I wouldn't say distractions, but there's less time given to other interests as the weeks go on.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, as I said, the fact that we'd had that extra week, we were able to give some key players a week off without having to train and see could they really rehab and come back fresh. And that's starting this week, really. So look, we're hoping that, and I'm sure everyone will be